My name is Michael Turner, and for 23 years, my wife, Sarah, and I had rarely gone a day without holding hands. It wasn't something we planned. It was simply who we were. A hand on the shoulder while making coffee. A quick hug before leaving for work. Her head resting against me while we watched old movies on Friday nights. Those little moments were how we reminded each other that we were never alone. Then, almost overnight, everything changed. It started with the smallest things. Whenever I reached for her hand, she gently pulled away. When I kissed her forehead before bed, she'd smile politely but turn over without another word. I convinced myself she was stressed. Our youngest daughter had just started college. Sarah had recently accepted a promotion at work. Life was busy. People changed. I told myself not to overthink it. One evening, as we were cleaning up after dinner, I wrapped my arms around her from behind like I had done hundreds of times before. She froze. Then she carefully removed my hands. "Michael." Her voice was calm. "I need to ask you something." I stepped back immediately. "What is it?" She took a deep breath. "I need some space." I nodded. "Okay." "No." She looked at the floor. "I mean physical space." I frowned. "What do you mean?" "I don't want hugs. Or kisses. Or hand-holding. At least for a while." The words hit me harder than I expected. Did I do something? She quickly shook her head. "No. This isn't about you. I just feel overwhelmed. I don't want anyone touching me right now." Anyone. That word echoed in my mind. Anyone. I wanted to ask 100 questions. Instead, I simply said, "If that's what you need, I'll respect it." She smiled with obvious relief. "Thank you." That night, for the first time in our marriage, we slept without touching. No goodnight kiss. No arms around each other. Just two people lying on opposite sides of the same bed. The following weeks became strangely quiet. I stopped reaching for her hand. Stopped hugging her. Stopped sitting close beside her on the couch. If she wanted physical space, I decided I would give it to her completely. Not just from touch. From me. I started eating dinner later so she could have the kitchen to herself. I spent weekends fishing instead of staying home. I accepted every overtime shift I could find. The house became peaceful. Almost too peaceful. Then one Saturday morning, my elderly neighbor, Frank, stopped me while I was mowing the lawn. He looked toward my house. "Everything all right between you and Sarah?" I forced a smile. "Why do you ask?" He hesitated. "I've never seen two married people live together and look so completely alone." For the first time, I wondered if giving her the space she asked for had quietly created a distance neither of us knew how to cross. After my conversation with Frank, I began paying closer attention. Sarah wasn't just avoiding physical touch. She was avoiding me. If I entered the living room, she'd suddenly remember something she needed upstairs. If I started a conversation, she'd answer politely, but briefly. Nothing she did was cruel. But nothing felt like love anymore. One evening, I decided to ask, "Sarah, can we talk?" She nodded. "Of course." I sat across from her instead of beside her. "You asked for physical space. I gave it to you. But now it feels like we are roommates." She looked down. "I know. Is there someone else?" Her head snapped up. "What? No." "Then what's happening?" She rubbed her temples. "I don't know how to explain it." "Try." After a long silence, she whispered, "I don't even recognize myself anymore." Those words caught me off guard. She wasn't angry. She wasn't defensive. She looked exhausted. She admitted she'd been struggling for months. She woke up tired. Simple tasks overwhelmed her. Noise irritated her. Even a hug, something she'd always loved, made her feel trapped. I thought it would pass. It didn't. I asked why she hadn't told me. She smiled sadly. Because I didn't want you to think I stopped loving you. Instead of feeling relieved, I felt heartbroken. She had been carrying everything alone. Still, I didn't know how to help. So I continued giving her space. Only now. The silence between us became even heavy. A week later, Sarah fainted at work. Her manager called me. By the time I reached the hospital, she was awake. The doctor invited us into a private room. After reviewing several tests, he looked at Sarah kindly. I believe you've been living with severe anxiety and burnout. He explained that months of stress, lack of rest, and emotional exhaustion had left her feeling constantly overwhelmed. For many people, he said. I looked at Sarah. Tears rolled down her face. I thought something was wrong with our marriage. She reached for a tissue. I thought something was wrong with me. The doctor encouraged counseling, rest, and open communication. On the drive home, neither of us spoke for several minutes. Finally, Sarah whispered, "I'm sorry." I shook my head. "No." "I'm sorry. I thought giving you more distance was helping." She looked out the window. It made me feel like I was losing you. Those words stopped me. You asked for space. I asked for less touch. She smiled through tears. I never asked you to stop being my husband. For the first time in weeks, we both understood the same mistake. Neither of us had communicated what we truly needed. Healing wasn't instant. Some days Sarah still felt overwhelmed. Some days I still wondered whether I was doing too much or too little. So we made one simple promise.
No guessing. No silent assumptions.
If she needed space, she'd tell me exactly what kind. If I felt lonely, I'd say it instead of hiding behind quiet understanding. Our counselor suggested something unexpected. Start small. Not long hugs. Not grand romantic gestures. Just small moments of connection. A smile across the breakfast table. A conversation during an evening walk. Sitting beside each other while reading. Weeks later, Sarah reached across the couch and gently rested her hand on mine. She looked nervous. "Is this okay?" I smiled. "It's perfect." Neither of us moved for several minutes. It wasn't the touch that mattered. It was what it meant. Months later, we celebrated our 24th anniversary. While walking through the same park where I'd proposed years earlier, Sarah slipped her hand into mine. "I've missed this," she whispered. "So have I." That evening, Frank saw us walking home together. He grinned. "Looks like you two found each other again." I laughed. We never stopped loving each other. We just stopped understanding each other. Looking back, I realized the biggest mistake I made wasn't respecting Sarah's request. She asked for space from physical touch. I accidentally gave her space from my presence, my conversations, and my support. Love doesn't disappear because someone needs room to breathe. Sometimes, the strongest marriages survive because both people learn that space doesn't have to mean separation. It can simply mean loving each other in a different way until healing begins.